Hey everyone, welcome back to Planet FB2X, where I live and breathe Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle every day, at least until my stamina runs out. So, since it's your first time here, probably, I just wanted to say thanks for giving my content a shot. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm really actually enjoying putting everything together. So, with that being said, today's Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle discussion is going to actually be about a few events that I think need revamps in the game. All images and information provided by the Dokkan Wiki, so shouts out to them as usual. Um, so there's a couple of events or types of events that I'm not going to go over. I do think that all the strike events need a revamp. Um, they've been the same for way too long, and there's I'm just not going to go over every single one because there's so many of them, right? And they're basically just going to do the same thing with all of them if they ever do um, revamp them. Which even if they did revamp them, I think all they would do is probably just add extreme Z awakenings for those characters. I'm guessing. I'm not 100% what they could do with those Super Strike characters. They're all pretty fodder at this point. I don't think any of them are actually runnable on teams. So with that being said, we're not going to go over any Super Strike events. We're just going to be focusing on or story events either because they've actually been revamping a lot of those. We recently got a cooler story revamp. We got the BoJack revamp a while back, and I'm sure they're going to continue doing that kind of stuff with the older story events. And even newer story events will eventually probably get a revamp or more stages added, something of the sort, right? Okay, so let's hop right in. So the first event that I wanted to talk about was the Hero Extermination Plan uh, Evil Power Strike Back. So this event has been around since 2016, and it's really annoying that they haven't done anything with it yet. The drops on some of these stages are abysmal. Trying to farm for anyone who has, I commend you because farming these awakening medals that drop from these certain from these stages can be a real pain. I know me personally, I haven't extreme Z awakened a lot of these characters since I'm just too lazy to farm these medals sometimes. I know I awakened a few of them to run a few of those, mostly just to get the stones and the missions done. But I haven't actually awakened them from a UR to, or sorry, from a base SSR to a base UR yet. A couple examples are this Pride Regain Tech Vegeta I haven't done. The first AGL Goku that they Extreme Z awakened from this batch of characters I haven't awakened either. The Tech Super Saiyan 2 one, the Tech Super Saiyan 2 Goku and the Angel Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, I have those two awakened and rainbowed, but I don't think I'm going to awaken the other units that awaken from these medals until they get Extreme Z awakening. So the Int Teen Gohan, for example, um, or what else is there? There's the AGL Kid Goku that they haven't given an easy A to yet, who I don't have awakened either. But they really need to revamp this. What I was thinking is maybe they could add a boost if you have the characters awakened to Extreme Z. It's a good way to, or if you have one of the characters Extreme Z awakened. Say you had Tech Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku Easy 8 already, right? So he gives you a boost on these stages now, on the ones that he can be run. I don't even care if they change this. they can leave all this. No physical characters can enter stage 10. Who cares? Who cares? There's so many of these characters anyway, right? It I just think it's really time for a revamp on this one. It's been long enough. I don't think anybody has much good things to say about this event. Sure, you can farm a couple of decent items, I'll say, but you can't. It's too much. There's the drop rates on these things are abysmal, and they really need to do something about it. I mean, even if they just increase the drop rate, I'd be happy. Or you were guaranteed one every run, something of the sort would be okay with me. Okay, so the second event, as you guys can probably guess, is the Hero Extermination Plan, which is the first part of that event. Again, same complaints basically. The drop rates and what you get are just abysmal. Farming any sorts of these medals that come from events, from different story events that come around every now and then, is just. At first, when I first started the game, I thought this is how you had to farm these Strongfest medals, for example. And I said, who is going to sit here and farm one of these at a time or two of these at a time, right? You're going to be there for days farming that stuff and wasting your stamina on stuff like that. I remember farming these core Kura medals, and even those were a pain to farm to try and awaken the int metal Kura. So same complaints here. Like I said, they need to make the rates better or add some sort of boost where if you use the Hero Extermination EZA units, you get a boost of some sort, or maybe if you run a specific team on a stage, you get a boost. Something at least to help us out with this, because again, these have been around since 2016. You know, I don't even think they need to really when they update this, or if they ever update. I have a feeling these two events are just never going to be updated. And same with the other three events that I'm going to talk about. I don't think they're ever going to update these events for some reason. Maybe they will. I hope they do. But that being said, let's go ahead and just move on to the next event, because I'm already pretty salty just looking at that. So the next event that I'm going to talk about is the Bizarre Rabbit Mob event. I don't really have an issue with this event, since this wasn't it was I remember this episode of Dragon Ball, but it wasn't one of the ones that stood out to me the most. He wasn't in any way some sort of ridiculous. He was a little bit of a ridiculous villain, if you will, but he didn't stand out to me. You guys probably understand what I'm saying. A lot of people don't even know about this rabbit. So the only thing I would say about this event is they should just awaken the rabbit and give him an awakening of some sort, and just make him useful in one way, right? Kind of how they do with certain free-to-play cards, where they gear them towards one specific team. We can take a look at him real quick. So his leader skill is fodder. They could probably make this int type HP attack and defense, say 80%, key plus 2 or 3, free-to-play unit type thing. His super attack causes extreme damage, and it has a rare chance to stun the enemies. So you could basically keep this the same and maybe make this medium chance. His passive skill is medium chance to stun the attacked enemy. So he works similarly to the AGL Mai. If you guys know how she works, it's very similar. Same with the Int Mai works pretty similarly as well. So they could just make him work kind of like her, right? And then he's on the Earthling category, which, if you guys didn't know, desperately needs a buff. Sure, we got some. There's two really good units on this team, and now I would say even 2.5. This Yamcha isn't too bad. He's actually pretty good. A lot of people don't think he's that great, and I mean he's nothing amazing by any means, but he's definitely not as bad as people think he is. Um, but this Earthling category desperately needs a buff, so why not give it a friendly support right here? You can run a little rabbit on your team. I'd be okay with that. His other two, Dragon Ball Saga, that that could use a buff too. Terrifying Conquerors. I mean, I guess, but you don't. You're not gonna run. You're not gonna run him on this team. There's so many better units that you could be running instead. So you're not gonna run him on that team. But I think they should give this guy an awakening. Um, that's just my opinion. You could make him a support type, not a ridiculous support or anything, but you could definitely make him a support for the Earthling category, which definitely needs a buff right now. Okay, so the next two events I'm going to talk about kind of go a little bit hand in hand. They're from the growth section, and a lot of us probably have forgotten about them. Since I'm going to go ahead and say I have not run this event in probably over a year now, I think, unless if it had something to do with missions. But I don't think I have, to be quite honest. And the event is so old that we don't even know the release dates, so, at least for the training in the clouds. So basically, you walk down a path, you choose whether you want awakening medals, support items, or training items, and then you fight one of these three guys, and that's it. The event's over. They're super weak. I understand why they make the event relatively easy. It's for newer players, right? But why not make it so it scales with your level, right? That's something that you know, level. So stage one, because there's only one stage right now. So keep stage one as it is, and then once you hit, let's say, level 50, stage two unlocks, kind of like how Pan's worked. Pan's Secret Adventure, right? You unlocked. You didn't get stage two right away. You didn't get the the second and third difficulty on the first stage right away. So what if we did it that way, right? Where, say, at level 50, it unlocks the next three fightable opponents, which could be, say, Kami, a teen Goku, and you know, Majunior or something like that, right? How would you guys feel about that? I think that would work a lot better than what we have now, right? And then eventually you keep adding stages for ranks every 50 ranks, or maybe you make it every 100 eventually. And you make the items better as you rank up. You make the enemies harder to fight. You make the rank EXP better, right? You make the character EXP better. Maybe it's something that they once planned on doing and they just kind of forgot about this event, just like they forget about certain cards or certain units that just kind of seem to fall into the background, and they just never do anything with them anymore. They're just there to be there, I guess. Um, so yeah, that's how I feel about this event. That's what I think they should do with it. I think it would work pretty good. The last event that I wanted to talk about was this Battle for Awakening Metals event. You pick a type, so you pick agility or AGL, tech, int, STR, or physical, and the paths are ridiculously long. You can get a decent amount of awakening medals from the event. My biggest gripe with this event is how long it is, and how many enemies they throw at you. If they want to throw enemies at you, that's fine, but just make them stops. Don't make them those just the stupid red dots that you try and avoid. And especially when you land on those, they don't even drop anything. You have to fight these bosses in order to get like drops from them, right? Otherwise, you're just collecting the medals. So if you guys made it that the enemies on the board that weren't the bosses, that weren't the quote unquote boss fights, right? If they made it so that those guys dropped enemy or dropped awakening medals as well, or even training items for that matter, I'm sure at least I would probably fight a lot more of those enemies rather than avoid them, right? Not that I ever run this event anymore because I have a hundred, hundreds and thousands of awakening medals, right? At this point, but this is something else that they need to revamp. They either need to revamp it or add more stages, or again make it so it scales with your level, with your account level. I understand that a free to play player at rank 400 isn't going to have the same things as a whale at rank 400, or that a whale at rank 200 is probably going to have a lot more good units than somebody who doesn't spend a lot of money on the game at rank 400 or something of the sort, right? So I think they need to do that and just gear it so it's still easy but just better overall. Uh, it just doesn't flow with a lot of the rest of the game and a lot of the other the other events, I guess. I don't know how to word it. Anything that isn't in the quest area, right? This all feels, the difficulty of these two last events particularly feel like it belongs more in the quest side of the game with how easy they are than it does over on the event side of the game, if you guys understand what I mean. So I just think they need to tone it up a bit or make it scale with level. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video today, guys. I just wanted to give some thoughts on a few events that I definitely think need either a revamp or uh, they need to do something to make them more appealing, I guess, for people to do. Maybe add some missions with them. That could work as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Everything helps. So thanks again for checking out the content, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video.